Good Saturday afternoon, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. We have some storminess again. Why would you be on the air or online at, I don't know, 2:31 on a Saturday afternoon? Well, we've got a severe thunderstorm watching till 7 o'clock, and we have warnings that are actively going on at this time. Let me show you. If you're on here, I'm not only on Facebook, but I'm also on YouTube. Oh, yes, youtube.com/@CaptainAccurate. At Captain Accurate. You got to throw in the A there. But I want to mention, if you have some comments on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to do my best just to switch the tab here. I'm on YouTube here, and if I switch over, you can see now I'm on Facebook. So I just want to see if you're on the call, let me know. I'll do my best to share your information, share your weather report, and magnify your voice. Boy, things have kind of lit up in the last half hour or so. Sure, we got a severe thunderstorm watch. That's what's shaded there in yellow across Knox County. I can see that very clearly, clear as day. That runs till 7 o'clock. That means conditions are favorable. We have high dew points, don't you know? They've been in the mid-70s. That's like rocket fuel, my friend. Sure, it's an uncomfortable afternoon because you sweat and you don't cool down, but it's also rocket fuel for these storms to thrive. This is the environment that they do so well. And if you really need some more evidence that these storms are packing a punch, let's just throw on some lightning. Oh, there it is. How many do we have there? 4,709. But why be that accurate? Let's be precise. 4,709. Now it's 19. Keeps changing. But again, these white lightning strikes represent negative, and the yellow positive. Positive typically are much hotter. They represent about 5% of the total lightning strikes. But you'll notice all this is working its way in our direction. If I were to just do a little loop for the last 30 minutes, let's just go back and, just for argument's sake, see what this looks like. Is this headed toward me? Well, I don't know who me is. If your me is in Newport, yeah, it's eventually going to get to you. If me is Madisonville, yeah, eventually it's going to get to you. And if me is downtown Knoxville, well, it's already started. And the storminess, the one that's more dramatic with the 60-mile-an-hour winds or higher, are moving in those yellow polygons, which, again, I have to take the lightning off so you can see those a little more clearly, right? Because the lightning does tend to muddy up the map. But let's take a look. Our first item up for bid is the severe thunderstorm warning for Union County, Campbell County, till 2:45. And last check, as I stop this little loop, because it's moving a little too much for me, it's 2:33. That's our current time. This expires at 2:45, so just about 12 more minutes. 12 more minutes for Campbell and Union County, and a little slice for good measure. A little bit of Claiborne County thrown in for good measure, too. Darcy Soar. Hello, Darcy. She's on the call here. I'm going to say hello to Darcy. She says it's gray and overcast and rumblings. I added that little effect for you. Rumblings here in South Roane County. Hot. It's the humidity, but it's the hotness, too. Already raining in Kingston, but not here yet. Already rained in Kingston, but the big storm's probably still coming. Alice says it's storming here in Glen Mary. A shout out to Glen Mary and to Alice. Happy to have Alice here. Pouring rain, thunder, and lightning. And Angel White says it's thundering in Decatur. So we have confirmation from 3 individuals on Facebook who've already said, yep, this is the real deal. It's raining, it's thundering, it's storming, and all the rest. And I got a little note here from Felicia. She's on Facebook. Excuse me, she's on YouTube. Just multitasking. We're on YouTube here, in her comment, Felicia's Crafty Adventures. Hello, David. Started to sprinkle in South Knoxville with lots of thunder. Felicia is one of my Facebook premium members, but she's on YouTube. See, she multitasks too. It's very possible. You could be watching me on YouTube or on Facebook at the exact same time right now. How cool is that? Just want to give you a heads up. We're going to be under this kind of thing between now and 7 p.m. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll be on solid, but this is certainly going to show you where things are going. I'm going to first start off with the warnings. We're looking at Claiborne, a little bit north-southwest of it, Union County, northern part of it, and southeastern Campbell County till 2:45. And from this particular warning, which I'm going to easily do from using my Captain Accurate Weather app, which you can download, it's free, it's there, and it's got Pete Michaels traffic, which you got to love. But if you zoom in and pinch on the map, which is what I'm doing here, and come back on camera, I'm simply looking at the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Sharps Chapel. This is the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2:45. This little bad boy right here. And it's affecting west central Claiborne, southeastern Campbell, and central Union counties. And it's moving east at 30 miles per hour. So we're going to track that here. Let's go ahead and do that. This is moving 30 miles per hour. We can make the assumption that it's going to continue in this track as it moves forward in time. Let's just go ahead and do a little track with this little blob of reflectivity here. If it's moving 30 miles an hour, the towns that are likely to be impacted next will be Sharps Chapel right now. Lick Skillet, love that name, 238. Chestnut Grove, 243. Acuff, 246. And approximately reaching Cup Mill, around 248. So there's some towns that may not be in the warned area yet, but you may feel the brunt of the storm that's now departing Campbell, Claiborne, and Union County ever so slowly. Seems like it's ever so slowly, but it kind of blew in and blew out. Now, that's one particular warning. Let's see if we have any others. Oh, we have quite a few. We have this one over here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Scott County till 3. Scott County till 3, and we can zoom in up here and maybe clear off the other map, because all this is working from west to east, and that's the situation that we're working with at the moment. But Scott County is until 3 p.m., and there's some times of this storm that also pretty big box, polygon north of Wartburg, that it's moving east at 26. So this is about 7.2 miles wide, 100% chance of hail, and it's on the low scale for tornadoes. So BTI, that's Barron Tornado Index. On a scale of 0 to 10, 7, 8, or 9, that's the real deal, but this is a 2.5. So something to watch. I got a little box here. So again, that's Scott County. It's also Morgan County till 3. It's northwestern Anderson County till 3. So this is the big polygon that we're looking at right now that lasts until the top of the hour. That's about 23 minutes left. Let's move further south. Harriman, you're getting some thunderstorms in your region right now. Roane County till 3:15. I believe that's where Darcy is in Roane County. This is moving to the east at 33 miles per hour. It's got width of 4.5, and the hail is 50% chance. Well, 50% chance of hail, and it's also on a low scale of the BTI scale of 2.4. But Roane County until 3:15. So just to recap, if you're just joining me, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Union, Campbell, and Claiborne County till 2:45. That'll be expiring in about 7 minutes or so, give or take, 7 or 8 minutes. And then we got the ones that's for Scott County, western Campbell County, and northwestern Anderson till 3. That includes northern Morgan. And I see they just added. Did you see that? A little sleight of hand? That was slick. They just added some severe thunderstorm watches to the east. So Rogersville, Greenville, Morristown, welcome to the party. Wasn't that I think that was a Bruce Willis line. Yes, Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal. Now everybody's in the party. We don't want to make anybody feel excluded from a severe thunderstorm watch. So now if I just go back 10 or 15 minutes, see, it wasn't there, but there it is. So I'm just doing the scrub bar here. So it wasn't there at 2:37, but at 2:38, it's there. So this includes now Jefferson City, Gatlinburg, Cosby, Newport. I know you felt left out, Tazewell. I know you had to have felt left out, and maybe in Hancock County too. Sneedville, you're like, I wish I were under severe thunderstorm watch. Well, now you got your wish. Probably not your wish, but you got it anyway. And that will be lasting, let's say Jefferson City, until 8 p.m. tonight. Ooh, you get an extra hour on yours because it's taking longer to get to you. Knox County expires at 7. Jefferson County till 8. Does that make sense? I hope so. Steve Stone's on here. He says it started raining. I'm on YouTube here. I'm doing both. But Steve Stone says it started raining here in Rockford about 10 minutes ago, and it's heavy at first, but now a little bit light. It'll come and go. I suspect that's to be the case. As I pop back over, little tab changing there, changing of the tabs. I see Deborah Owen on Facebook. She says thunderstorm in Hall's Crossroads. Thank you, Deborah. Pauline Kindred, one of my premium members, thundering in the distance in Alcoa and East Maryville. She came out to our premium picnic back on the 15th of July. We had a lot of fun. We had free Marco's pizza. So there's a lot of incentive to do the fun things that we're doing. We're playing some stuff with the eclipse stuff, the annular, total. You got to join us on the premium side. Go to CaptainAccurate.com. By the way, Sharon Sharp low, thundering in Powell. And we mentioned about Darcy and her gray overcast skies. But again, this is an evolving situation. It's not going to be everybody experience it at the same exact time. It's going to progress. And that brings me to, leads me to the future radar. Let me show you what that looks like. The good news is we have no tornado warnings. But I was about to say, we had that situation on Monday, but we had a tornado. So when you see a severe thunderstorm polygon, I like to say squares, but they're not squares. They're irregularly shaped. These little yellow polygons, definition is a 58-mile-an-hour storm or higher, quarter-size hail, that's the size of a George Washington, let's say a 1-inch size hail, that's about the size of a George Washington quarter, and or a possible tornado. That part gets left out oftentimes because if it's mentioned every time, then you think we're crying wolf, right? But there is the possibility that sometimes meteorologists are, they work with the intel they have. And I know we had an EF2 in West Knox County on Monday. I'm not telling anything anyone doesn't already know. but those sometimes can be straight line winds, like we had in Kodak, like we had in Loudoun. But we did have an EF2 of winds of 130 on Monday. This does not appear to be of the same caliber of storms, but just like every wave at the beach can be different. Sometimes you feel like you got wiped out. Sometimes it comes in with a whimper. So right now, as I'm looking around the region, I'm looking at these little circles here. I'm going to circle. I probably should change the color of my still. A little shower here. You say, I got a little shower. It's nothing. I got a little shower. And then you get the bigger storms. You're like, yeah, this is a bigger deal, right? So you have little pockets of showers and storms going on right now. And the only one that we are most, well, I said the only one, the only consistency that we're seeing across the board is that we're all under a severe thunderstorm watch. We just have different expiration times. I mentioned Jefferson City, Jefferson County will expire at 8 p.m., but everything west of Jefferson County, Knoxville, expires at 7. So that just means conditions are favorable. We go back to Crossville, Cumberland County. That runs till 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. Part of, say, Southern Fentress, I'm looking at you. Southern Fentress is until 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. And we have a new storm that's just developed now in Ray County till 3:15. This includes, as I mentioned, Ray County, perhaps also parts of Meigs. So all of these storms potentially are producing some wind. So let's go first to that. Let's talk about the velocity, because I think that's important. I think given the fact that we had 81 mile-an-hour wind gusts showing up on my computer on Monday, it really kind of grabbed your attention. So let's see what we can populate here in terms of some strong winds. 46, 37. We might get a stronger one here or there. 54. So this gives you a sense there is some strong winds in some of these storms, and they can do damage. It doesn't have to be 80 like we had on Monday to cause damage or loss of power. So that's just one example of all of these boxes coming in at this particular time. Butch Gale says, Tazwell, he's got a smiley face. He said, yeah, well, and then what about Dollywood, says Kathy Self. Well, Dollywood is over in Pigeon Forge, and it doesn't look like we have much going on there yet, but it'll eventually come. I can tell you Sevier County is, in fact, under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock. That includes Dollywood, right? There's Pigeon Forge. I see it. I love Dollywood. Who doesn't, right? But Dollywood and Sevierville, Kodaks, Gatlinburg, everybody's under a severe thunderstorm watch. And I showed you a moment ago, this was newly issued for areas east of Knoxville. It wasn't there prior to, I guess we go back to our radar image. That may be a little easier. But if I go back just a few minutes, look at the clock here at the bottom under the word ultimate, and you can see it just disappeared, right? So what are you doing? You're confusing me. Well, I'm taking you back 3 or 4 minutes, right? Because it's now 2:43, and this was 6 minutes ago. Tazewell, Jefferson City, Kodak, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge were not under the watch, but the powers that be, Storm Prediction Center and the friends at the National Weather Service in Morristown said, you know what, let's just put everybody under the watch, and we'll make them expire at 8 and Knoxville at 7. So that's the way it goes. But we still have some activity here as far as what we're going. Let's go town to town. I think it's important. We have some downpours around Mapleview, north of Fountain City, and south of Beech Grove. It is coming down in buckets in Bearden. I don't know if anyone's watching from Bearden or West Knoxville. Cedar Bluff's getting a little downpour, but it looks okay in Carnes. How can that be? How could that be? Because these are scattered showers and storms. Solway's dry. Hardin Valley's dry. But Farragut, Hardin Valley, they had an EF3 or EF3. They had an EF2 tornado on Monday with winds of 130. It's just the way it goes. So if we go back a few minutes, in fact, this is 2:38. Let's see where it is now. See where it's progressed. It's now moving downtown, and it's turning purple. So it's becoming more intense around Bearden, and now we're looking at more of a realistic picture. Now we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County. This is going to 2:45. So let me read to you what I'm seeing on the my app from the Weather Service. Let's take a look at that, because I think that could help us. So come back on camera, and love to get your comments. Let me know on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube. I had a couple of comments. Yes, I got Keith Fowler. She says, glad you're here, but sorry you're missing the family time. Dark here in Jefferson City, but no rain yet. Keith is one of my premium members on Facebook. And I kept saying, I think it's probably 3 or 4 Fridays. I said, I think I'm going to take some time off, just a few hours off on Saturday. And I've never been able to do it, because Mother Nature keeps giving me this, right? So anyway, tongue in cheek, it'll eventually come. I'll get that time, but we'll see. Will, Tennessee says, hey, I'm in Bearden. I'm sure have you had any interesting weather reports? Let me know, Will. Do my best to share your comment and make it a little bit louder and magnify your voice. Jackie Romo says, Carnes is rumbling, but no rain. Seems like it's going around you, because Carnes over here, right? And the storm is downtown Knoxville. So let me take this. It's more interesting to look at the downtown Knoxville picture. But let me see. Let's take a look at the map. As you look at it full, I will do my best to read to you as far as what I'm seeing here. Let's go to downtown Knoxville till 3:45. Does that surprise you? That's an hour from now. Are you telling me those two red blobs and purple blobs are going to be around an hour from now? Probably not. Probably going to move along to the east. But we're getting some intel from the Weather Service that says, severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County, east central Anderson, northwestern Blount, northwestern Sevier County until 3:45. And at 2:40, they say, severe thunderstorm was located along a line extending near Clinton to Louisville, moving east at 15 miles per hour. So it's taking its sweet time. 15 miles per hour is not like 60 we had on Monday. You really can't assume every time you have severe weather that everyone's going to be like, is it going to be as bad as the one on Monday? No. Is every wave at the ocean going to be the same? No. They're all different. Very different. But I can tell you this, when it rains, it pours. And we're going to look at rainfall amounts here in just mere moments. But let me show you if I get a track. Oh, I have one. This will give you some times. I love the times. This is moving east by my computer's estimation at 18. Weather Service says 15. I'm not going to split hairs. It's pretty much the same. Width is just under 6 miles. Severe hail, 20% chance, and its BTI is 2.4. So it's on the low scale for tornadic, but it's going to produce some local heavy rain. Let me give you the town. Sequoia Hills, 251. If you're in Sequoia Hills, brace yourself. You're getting or will soon get a severe thunderstorm. Mount Olive, 252. Vestal, I love Vestal, 255. Neyland Stadium, I really love Neyland Stadium. How many of you love Neyland Stadium? 258. It'll be in the Neyland Stadium. So any UT, maybe doing some early move-in, that's possible, right? A couple of kids, maybe that's more tomorrow. But hey, Sunsphere, 3 o'clock. It's going to be around Knoxville downtown, 3 o'clock. The worst of it, you say, well, it's already raining in Knoxville. Well, it's not going to get any better because I could see some times here, South Knoxville, 301. I can see Market Square, 301. And Island Home there at 304. Pete Michaels always likes that too. Wanda Poe, thank you, David. It's cloudy here in Newport. Thank you, Wanda, for that update. Amanda Rouse says thunder in New Tazewell. So I'm looking at you all and looking at also YouTube because we're doing a live stream on both. We're on my Facebook page. We're on YouTube. I'm trying to expand my reach. Why YouTube? Well, YouTube, it might be an untapped resource for me, so I thought I'd reach out. Will, Tennessee says it's windy and lightning pretty good in Bearden. So thank you, Will. And he says, go Vols, go Vols. Absolutely. Hashtag GBO. And when you got Neyland Stadium on your map, where's that on your map? It's on my little blue box. It says 259. It's be in Neyland Stadium, ready to downpour onto the field. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I said Rocky Top. Just put it in there. All right, so we got these nasty storms, Knox County, until 3:45. It's not the only game in town. I understand that. I'm going to look at other places too to the west. It's coming up here in just seconds. But let me go to the accumulation factor because some of us have had a lot of rain over the last few hours. I'm looking at the last 6 hours, and let's see if I can take that off. I'm taking everything off, just the rainfall, so we don't maybe make the map a little less cluttered. My eyedropper here, and some areas in yellow just north of Jellicoe, in southern, just south of Williamsburg, into Whitley County, they've had 2.3 inches of rain. LaFollette's had about 3/4. Jamestown, just south of you, about 1 inch. Areas north of Wartburg, about 1.33 inches. Some areas in northern Knox County already have 3/4. And again, this is an evolving situation. Cumberland County, anywhere from 3/4 to 1.5 inches, nearly. There's a lot of rain. And so that's going to cause some big puddles, so be extra careful there. Meanwhile, as we're also looking, we looked at town to town. Let's look at power outages. You say it's too early for power outages, David. I'm a little gun shy because I lost power on Monday and I don't like to hear that. Okay, well, I understand that, but I'd be remiss if I don't show you that we do have some. Okay, looks like we have quite a few around the state. Nashville got hit pretty hard earlier today. So I'm looking at Somerset, Pulaski County, Kentucky. They've had some power outages. Hamilton County near Chattanooga has had some power outages, and they're adding some more. Look at that. So Cumberland County, about 100. Fentress, 200. Nashville, 2,000. Some areas, 3,000 north of Nashville. Chattanooga area, maybe 200. And it's early. It's early. But there's still possibilities for wind damage here in the next few minutes. I want to go back to your questions. If you have some questions for me, I'll do my best to answer them. I see Will saying go Vols. Back to Facebook I go. And I see Renee Hopkins on Cherokee Lake, Morristown. Hear rumbles. You're hearing rumbles. It's just getting started. I'm telling you what, I got to show you too the temperature and the dew points. The dew points have been in the mid-70s. That's like the canary in the coal mine. When it's in the if it's near 70, it's humid. But you get into the mid-70s. I saw a 76-degree dew point for McGee Tyson within the last hour or so. That's like the swamp. That's right out of Axl Rose' Welcome to the Jungle. It is absolute, and it becomes the fuel for which these storms continue to grow. Carol Wilkerson Evans, if I said that right, Powell is thundering but no rain. And Sonia, is there another round west of us still coming in this evening? This will likely play its hand. As we saw on Monday, we had watches that lasted X time frame, and then they expired early. We had one, I think, was supposed to go to 7, and they pulled it at 5:30. So these things happen. So I think there's just kind of watching the trend. And you can see as we go back to the radar that this too shall pass. Let's go to the radar. If you're just joining me, here's what we have. And you can see there may not be a whole lot. Let's go to the national radar because I want to show you, there's not a lot back west of Nashville. See what I mean? So this, if we look at this in the last 30 minutes, this will play its hand, and we'll probably have the end of the severe thunderstorm watch. It may very well expire early. I don't want to give you any promises because I can't. It's like trying to predict what the umpire on the baseball field's going to say. I mean, you can assume, oh, well, that was a strike or that was a ball, but the umpire is the final say. And the National Weather Service, they issued, with the Storm Prediction Center, they issued the Severe Thunderstorm Watch. So they'll make it expire when they're ready, good and ready. But I can tell you, looking at the trend, to Sonia's point, is there another round? Looks like most of it's going to work its through here, and there'll be some residual showers of less intensity. I hope that makes some sense. All right, let me go back to the radar. Closer in, and it gets to the sweeps back on here, and you can see a little more clarity. If you have any doubts, we are still under a severe thunderstorm warning in Knox County till 3:45. We are under, at this particular point, we're still under a severe thunderstorm watch till 7. Anything east of Knox County, like Jefferson County, is under the watch till 8. But as I just mentioned, kind of like not the assumption, but there is probably going to be a reevaluation of how long that lasts depending on what storms develop. So at this point, a lot of lightning is showing up on this map. What do I have here? 5,000. No way. Because the last time I checked, it was 4,000 and some change. And now it's almost 5,700. So you might say, based on the same map view I'm using, that there's more lightning here because more storms are beginning to come in from the west. So that's what we're working with. But again, just if you're joining me just here in the last few minutes, we have a brand new one that's in parts of Monroe County. This runs till 3:30. McMinn County, you're under severe thunderstorm warning till 3:30. Let's go to town here. We got Meigs County till 3:30. Looks like Ray County till 3:15. Our friends in Cumberland County, Crossville, love Crossville. Cumberland County runs till 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern Time. And just the far southern edge of Fentress County would be included in that warning till 2:30. Most of Fentress County, it would appear, is not. If I go over towards Sunbright, into Morgan County till 3. Scott County, mainly southern part, till 3. Campbell County till 3:30 or 3:30 out. So we got a couple of boxes that overlap in the Follett, Caryville area. Norris is under a severe thunderstorm warning till 3. And I mentioned the severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County, Blount County. It's fine. I mean, it almost seems like it's probably not needed to be warned. I mean, look, here's Blount County, right? I'm shading in. Can you see what I'm doing? There's no storminess here, and yet you're under the warning. And this storm is all working its way to the east. So if I kind of might take this off in my telestrator, I can move that. This Blount County is listed, and if you have the phone app and it's come to your phone, there's not a lot in northern Blount County at this point. Louisville, it's passing you by. So it might have been overwarned in that area, but that's just a judgment call. This will be moving toward South Knoxville 258 if it's not already there. It's affecting Imes Nature Center. It's affecting Grandview. Should be around Forks of the River 308. And another round of it maybe around Woodfield Park at 308. Velma says good afternoon. Well, she doesn't say good afternoon, but she is saying storming in Sneedville now. Thank you, says Sonia. My pleasure. My pleasure. And again, this is kind of like, what's the football analogy? Calling an audible, right? So they'll have oftentimes they'll have a watch, our friends at Storm Prediction Center and the local office with Morristown, because the Storm Prediction Center, to be fair, is in Norman, Oklahoma. So they coordinate. There's always a coordination with the weather offices. But I will tell you this, sometimes they might overextend the watch so they don't have to take it down and put it back up. So it might go out till 7, but then if it stops at 5:30, okay, then they say it's done. And then most people don't get notified that it expired early, but sometimes they'll go deep sea fishing and go to 7 or 8 in some cases. Sonia says hello, and Renee says on Cherokee Lake Moore Sound she's heard some rumbles. Back to YouTube. Are you still on YouTube? Yeah, I'm still on YouTube. I got some new notes. Felicia, Crafty Adventures. I love Felicia. She's also one of my premium members on Facebook. Big thunder, she says, and lightning. She describes it as very windy and just some light rain in Island Home, right? Because these are scattered showers. We can take a look at Island Home and look at Knoxville. Knox County. This is not affecting, as you can see, all areas in the county, but it might certainly have effect in your county or your town. I'm looking at, say, let's see here, looking at, say, the east side of town. So the rain that's coming down right now in South Knoxville is heavier toward Meads Quarry and Lake Forest, where there could be, yes, even some hail. Say no. Hail? Absolutely there could be some hail. We haven't even, oh, there's some evidence. Right? There's some evidence. In fact, we call it the hail tracker. Let's go 30 minutes. Let's see what this looked like. 30 minutes ago, there wasn't much there, but then all of a sudden, boop, 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 boop. Okay? So you might get some pea-sized hail. Or maybe if you have that report, you want to share it with me, let me know. I'll do my best to pass that on to those who might be watching. But there is the possibility of some hail. We looked at the velocity here. It may not be as terribly off the chart, simply because of the colors. The bright white ones. Look at toward Petros, for example. Right? We'll do a little eyedropper. That's probably about a pretty strong wind there. There's 56. But you come to Knoxville, it feels like it's 3. This just depends if you're in the middle of the storm or if you're kind of away from the storm. It's kind of like if you're watching a firefighter shoot the water hose at the burning house behind him, or you're like in front of the hose and you're getting doused. Some of these storms, again, are going to have different impacts for different people, different times. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of strong winds, perhaps in the warned area for Knox County, but that's why I look at it, so that you can see for yourself. As far as rotation, it's pretty low. I hardly see any green here. Usually that's what you'd see a lot more of. And this particular is the tracker, and it, again, is not necessarily, with these low BTI numbers, probably not going to be anything tornadic. But we have a brand new, looks like a brand new, because I did the loop here. Let's go back to the warnings. We've got a new warning. It looks like it's showing up here in the category toward Rutledge. Am I right? I am correct. Granger County, welcome to the severe thunderstorm party, as it were. We have the potential for 60-mile-an-hour winds in Rutledge moving in your direction. These storms right now are moving in these towns. Let me go back here. This would include Liberty Hill at 311, Granger County, Washburn 315. You got a nasty storm around Dotson headed toward you by 325, if not sooner, and Rutledge proper at 325. Hammer Store. I assume they sell hammers, but that could be the name of the town until 326. Oh, there you go. Michael Hawk's back. Oh, I love it. Michael Hawk on YouTube says some rumbles and very muggy outside. Storm soup for sure. It is the air that is thick. That's what someone did describe a couple weeks ago. Said, hey, when it's really humid, the air is thick. I think that's a great description. It's the weather that you wear. Suddenly you go through the t-shirt and you're like, man, I'm drenched, but I'm not cool. That's not cool, but that's the way it sometimes goes. And Michael Hawk, watching these storms like a hawk for me. Thank you, Michael. And he's in Morristown. Very grateful to have Michael on YouTube. As we're watching Darcy's comments, it's here. Oh, so she's in Roane County. We got a storm there. Teresa Bailey says storming in Sharps Chapel. And will the storms move out? Of course they're going to move out. They're moving along. In some cases, you can see full screen, upper left, they're moving at east at 26 miles per hour. So the one that's approaching Rutledge is working its way east at 26 miles per hour. Let's see if we can do a similar analysis of some storms further south. One toward Knoxville, I said, is, again, think of each storm like a wave at the ocean. Is the wave building or is it decreasing? Sometimes it crashes on the shore and then it goes out like a whimper and then washes away perhaps your sandcastle. I hate when that happens. But every wave at the ocean, you could be getting bigger or smaller, and these storms are no different. Some of them are getting stronger, some are getting weaker. This has a BTI of 2.7. I'm looking at the bottom of this box right here. So that would not send any bells and whistles to me that this is tornadic, because I've had the question asked to me, is this going to be tornadic? We had some tornado warnings in Middle Tennessee this afternoon, but so far, knock on wood, we haven't had any here. But everybody remembers Monday all too well that sometimes they're not always warned. And if they don't have the intel, they don't issue it. So again, meteorologists are only as good as the intel they have. But when we have winds that are pretty wimpy, as we saw in the velocity just a moment ago, some areas are dealing with strong winds, some are dealing with hardly any wind at all. Maryville, Gatlinburg, all under a severe thunderstorm watch till 7 or 8. 7, Blount County, 8, Sevier County. This all could expire early. They will make an audible call like a quarterback behind the, when they hike the football, they make that audible call. They'll make that call as these storms move away. But these storms are just kind of firing in here at the moment. Quite a bit of lightning, now over 5,300 strikes. So you've got this is one of those afternoons. It's a Saturday. Who wants to say, hey, get the kids off the playing field? That's no fun, but that's kind of what I got to do here at 3:01. If you have kids that are playing soccer or at the swimming pool, you got to get them out of the swimming pool. Get them out of the boat, out of the lake. This is not a good time. You got a lightning storm coming, right? So every thunderstorm has a potential to produce, cloud to ground lightning, and that could take people's lives, take people's power with the damaging wind in some cases. So hopefully I'm not overstating the obvious, but again, please know that we're just now getting started, and the prime time is between now and 7 o'clock if we're to believe the watch goes till 7. I could see just in the last, let's go back 3 hours. Can we go back 3 hours? Let's go back, and then we're going to look at the future radar, because I think that'll help too. But here I'm going to take off all the warnings and just show you where things have been the last 3 hours, right? How this has progressed. Kind of skipped over maybe parts of Fentress, then it hit Fentress, then it moved into Follett, then it moved into Kingston, and now we're at 3:02. So this is where things have gone in just the last, since this afternoon, right? And all this is working its way to the east. By the way, the ultimate Doppler radar presented by InstaDry, foundation repair, basement waterproofing, how appropriate, and crawl space encapsulation. Get your free estimate. Go to instadry.com. I love instadry.com. They can help you out if you have some water issues in your home. One of the many things. They also deal with hail damage. Did you know that about InstaDry? Check them out. Kevin Jardet can help you out if you have hail damage. Speaking of hail, let's go back and take a look at that real quick. Are we getting any hail possibilities? It looks like we've had a few. I'd say quite a few in the last 3 hours. But if I just do the last 60 minutes, we'll see how this plays out. There's been a few. I see up toward Jellicoe, maybe just north of Wartburg, and popping up into Knox County. Maybe it's the size of a pea, but if you get some pea-size hail, maybe the size of a quarter, because again, that's part of the definition of severe thunderstorm warnings. It wouldn't surprise me, given all the humidity. That's a possibility. Rebecca Johnson Norris says here in Roane County, thank you, Rebecca. And Amanda Rouse saying rain is here now in New Tazewell and it's still thundering. So hail, thunder, lightning, got a lot of activity to make this Saturday extra special and not boring. Oh, it's not boring, that's for sure. You mentioned New Tazewell, right? We had some heavy rains here that showed up here around, say, Tazewell. Let's see here. Head of Barron. We've got a town called Clouds. You got to love Clouds because Clouds got rain. And rain has clouds and clouds have rain. That's all right there. And you say, you're making that up. I am not making that up. It's right there. The town says Clouds. So if you're in Claiborne County, your clouds have rain and your rain has clouds. It's kind of overtaken the two. Elm Springs. Elm Springs getting some downpours. Also, Beeler Mill and down toward Washburn itself. So those are some of the heavier hit areas right now. I overlay, this is also under the severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect until 3:30 for Granger County. So we've talked about Granger County, we talked about Rutledge, and its starting, the expiration time is 3:30, but those are the areas that we're watching in Granger County as well. To the west we go, and we're looking over here toward Jacksboro. I'm looking at some very heavy rain now affecting areas in Jacksboro, Caryville, Turley, Buckeye. It's about to hit Follett here in the next few minutes, but you're also under a severe thunderstorm warning. Campbell County till 3:30. That's a little less than a half hour from now. But it also includes Pee Wee and Beech Fork and Charlie's Branch and Braytown and Hembry. So all these areas under a severe thunderstorm warning till 3:30. That's what I'm watching very closely at this time. Back on camera as we go, as I'm looking over here. Ooh, Leah. Leah says this is the most rain within the shortest amount of time I have ever recorded. Are you kidding? Wow. Now that's saying something. But again, dew points mid-70s doesn't surprise me. When you have dew points north of 70 and it gets closer to like 76, which McGee Tyson had, you've got the biggest, largest car wash sponge known to man, and it's being wrung out in a big way. But you bring up a good point. She's a hair over an inch in 15 minutes. That's a lot of rain, approximately more to come, and she's loving it. She's loving it. Thank you so much, Leah. And Tennessee, it's been a rainy summer. It has. We've had only 10 90-degree days at McGee Tyson. We would probably be closer to 20, 25 by now. Yeah, we averaged 34 in a year. And we're running out of August, right? I mean, it's only the 12th, but we're supposed to be close to 90 today, but really not a lot of warmth when you have all this rain that's been affecting parts of the area, no doubt. Let me look real quick as I'm looking at this downpour and the Campbell County severe thunderstorm warning. We've had now, I misspoke. Forgive me, I misspoke. At 1 o'clock, our dew point was 76. At 2 o'clock, our dew point was 76. But now, let's see here, 3 o'clock at 77. I probably maybe experienced an 80-degree dew point, maybe a handful of times. I could count on one hand, and every time it usually resulted in severe weather. So when you get anything north of 75, and it's 77 right now, it's off the chart. And you will find when it rains, it pours. That's one of the things I was alerting my premium members quite thoroughly this morning and early afternoon, that because of the high humidity, we were likely to see some crazy downpours affected with this rain coming into town. Let me go real quickly because I know this is going to be hard to believe, but here's where our temperatures are right now. We're at 86 degrees, and you say it doesn't feel like 86. It doesn't feel like it. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like 97. What? Wait, say it again. A 77-degree dew point and an 86 air temperature makes it feel like it's 97. Come on, you sure about that? Yeah, there's 77. But notice how the rain has dropped the dew points in Oneida and Crossville to the 60s. But I'm looking at Morristown. My goodness, 79. See, that's not a good sign. When you see dew points in the mid to upper 70s and you got a front that's approaching, you got storms, it's almost the recipe. It's classic. It's textbook. It's textbook severe weather day. Because suddenly 86, dew point 77, carry the 1, that brings me to 97. Wow, that feels hot. And yet we haven't, or have we? Have we officially hit 90 today? What do you all think? I'm going to check for you. How many of you, show of comments, and I'm looking at the data, how many of you from a show of comments think that we, McGee Tyson, we is Knoxville, how many of you think we hit 90 degrees today? Show of comments, let me know. I can tell you the answer, but I don't know if you want to take a quick guess, whoever's first on the draw. Will says, wow. Maybe on Facebook, let me know real quick. Give me a quick answer. If you think we hit 90 today, and we know it feels like 97, but if you think we hit 90, raise your hand. If you don't think, let me know, because I can tell you real quickly, the answer may surprise you. May surprise you. Oh, Pauline says, there it is. She says it sure feels like 90. Well, yeah. I'd even go one step further. Sure feels like 97. It feels like 97. Our highest temperature today, 88. And we did that at 2 o'clock. We did that an hour and 8 minutes ago. Our highest temperature today was only 88, and now it's 86. But it still feels like 97 because we have that dew point, the temperature at which water vapor condenses. It's the temperature, it's the gold standard for humidity. When it's that crazy high, it suddenly puts the feels like in the stratosphere. Feels like it's a lot hotter. And yet this will be recorded as a day that never hit 90. It's like, that's amazing. I know it's amazing. It's crazy. Wind speeds right now, where you see green most recently have been well over 20, 25 miles per hour. Some might be 9 at the airport, but that's academic because every storm is going to have its own outcome. So let's take a look at the clouds. Where you see blue is colder cloud tops. Where you see yellow, it's colder still. And where you see red, these thunderstorms are right under the red parts. So these are the hot spots where you see red. These clouds are growing vertically. Back to the radar. I think that's very important to take a look as we're going to look here as this continues to update. We have a brand new one, looks like Sevier County, till 4:15, right? And it would appear in many cases, because I started on right about 2:30, it's now 3:10. I mean, there's just this looks like just too many boxes, right? I got one here, 4:15. Got one here, 3:30. Got one in Knox County till 3:45. Got one in Campbell County. That's why you need the Captain Accurate Weather app. Because I don't know if you, maybe you're not concerned about all these boxes. You just want to know about my town. I just want to know about Morristown. says maybe Michael Hawk. Or I'm just interested in South Knoxville, says maybe Felicia. And that's why it's important to have the app. It's free to download and can help you navigate through the storms. We have aerial flood advisories already issued till 5 o'clock for Campbell County. All the heavy rain that Leah was talking about, she got an inch in 15 minutes. I mean, with a dew point of 77 across the area, is it any wonder? It's not a wonder to me, but it is a good recipe for severe weather and flooding. So again, please be mindful. We have not had any flash flood warnings yet, but that could come. What about the flooding? It's a good question. Let's take a look. Has something changed in the last 6 hours? I still see one little yellow area just north of Jellicoe. The real flooding looks like it might have occurred up towards Somerset in Pulaski County, where they've had about 2.6 inches of rain, 2.5 north of Jellicoe. But some areas in Scott County, an inch and a quarter, inch and a third in Fentress County, perhaps as close as an inch and a half in southern Scott County, southern Cumberland County, 1.63, and downtown Knoxville maybe closer to an inch. And that may line up pretty well with what we saw from Leah's rain gauge. So that's one of the aspects that we're looking at here as well. So that's the rainfall. Real quickly, let's look at velocity again. I'll take off the boxes so that it won't necessarily clutter the map. But you can see where all these, the brightest green is where the strongest winds typically live here. So looking at this, I've got a little hot spot here, 49 miles an hour. South of Crossville, maybe 35. West of Clinton, about 55. So you've got some strong winds, some torrential rain, and in some cases, damaging wind. So please be mindful. But the good news is this map looks nothing, I'm going to repeat this map looks nothing like it did Monday. Monday, we were seeing 60, 65, 70, 75, 81 miles an hour on the velocity map. See what I mean? These are strong storms. They're to be taken seriously. It is time to bring the kids out of the pool and away from the lake while these storms pass. But this is not a repeat of Monday. And I just thought I'd say that because I think it's important people understand we can expect or forecast severe thunderstorms, but it doesn't always line up like the worst situation that you can recall in recent memory, because that, for many of you, had a real tough go on Monday. I get that. And you can see some of the winds have changed here, estimated 55, 45, and so on. The one thing I did not show over here was the Storm Prediction Center. Again, these are the men and women with PhDs who, I've been to Norman, Oklahoma, it's awesome. They start with a piece of paper and colored pencils. You think I'm making that up? I am not. When they start doing their analysis of the country, they will shade in where they think there is rising motion around the country, and they start from there. And then they go to their computers, and they eventually come up with a map. And for us, we went from nothing, which was no label, to isolated, level 1, and then suddenly late morning they issued number 2. So when we were under the severe thunderstorm watch, suddenly we were number 2, which is scattered severe storms. So you can see from this map, there's numerous severe storms expected today, level 3 in northern Pennsylvania and southern New York State, eastern Ohio. When we, as in Knoxville, East Tennessee, if we're ever under a level 3, like we were last Monday, that should raise the antenna. That should say, oh, I hate enhanced. Oh, I hate level 3. That's not good. But this is level 2. It's still dramatic because it can be disruptive for outdoor plans. But you can see this is the new map they drew late morning today, and it covers Nashville, Huntsville, Atlanta, and Birmingham. So it gives you some idea as far as where the worst of the storms are. It kind of falls off toward the Tri-Cities, but this gives you a sense that we have the potential for strong storms. Now, the question you might have is like, why is he on this map? Because I want you to be prepared for tomorrow. Oh, you haven't mentioned anything about tomorrow. Well, I have rain in the storms tomorrow in the forecast. And our friends at the Storm Prediction Center thinks tomorrow, because of the high dew points, could be isolated, severe. Some of the scattered tomorrow would be Kansas City, St. Louis, and Nashville, if you're traveling there, Tulsa, Wichita. But on Sunday, it looks like it's kind of shaved off from west to east. So it might just be run-of-the-mill general thunderstorms, Morristown, Maryville. It might be isolated severe from Madisonville, La Follette, Wartburg, and Middlesboro, and Crossville. I hope that helps. I'm just trying to help out as best I can. And we'll just kind of highlight the fact that there is going to be potentially for strong storms tomorrow, but may not be as active as it was today. Now, this map, granted, it's a little crazy. This is the power outages over the last couple of hours with the severe thunderstorm watch, with the severe thunderstorm warnings. It's a busy map. but bear with it, because what it's doing is it's showing you how we had 1,000 power outages in Crossville, Cumberland County around 2 o'clock. And now here at, say, 3:15, it's dropped to 300. So some of you have lost power in your county. Some of you haven't lost power, but could. And I just want you to know that the history of these storms are doing that. That's not just magically happening. It has everything to do with what we're seeing with these winds. And in some cases, they're the winds, 40, 58 miles an hour. That can do damage to power. That's just kind of the way things go. I'm looking here. It says 3:16. We're going back to the radar. It makes it a little easier to see, I think, this as a whole. Let me go back to the bigger screen here. And if we put the lightning on there, and of course the warnings, it's a busy map. Our lightning strikes have gone from 4,700 to 5,300, now over 6,600 lightning strikes. This seems like this is getting ridiculous. Could be because we still have to get through the next couple of hours. Audrey, she says, need updates for my pups. She's on here. So your pups, I guess your pups are I was going to say, are they sensitive? Like my dog, by the way, I named my dog Dew Point. Can you imagine the sadness on little girls' faces when I brought a puppy home and I said, we're going to name this dog Dew Point? And they said, that's a terrible name. I said, well, you could call her Dewey. You could call her Honeydew. You could call her Scooby-Doo. Whatever you want to call her, but just Dew Point. Anyway, dew points are high. I thought I'd tie that in there. But my pup hates the thunderstorms. She might be 9 years old now, but she's under the desk. That's where she likes to live when these storms come to town. And maybe your pup dates from Maryville might be in keeping with that, Audrey, so thank you for putting up with me. Pauline says only 88. Yeah, that's all we hit officially today, 2 o'clock, and that was an hour and 17 minutes ago. So we're not going to get to 90 now. I mean, sure, it feels like 97, but this one question I got years ago, when I was working in Rochester, New York, I had a guy who says, hey, if the temperature is 37 and the wind chill is 32, will water freeze? And I said, does water have feelings? He said, no. I said, then it won't freeze. It'll freeze when it's actually 32, not when it feels like it's 32. Does this make sense? Even though it was actually 88, but it felt like 97, now welcome to the Dew Point land. That's why I named my dog Dew Point. Anyway, Judy Kerr says no. And Audrey says, no, we need pup updates. So there we go. Let me get back to the radar. You get all my fun stories, too. Some of you are like, I could do without the stories. But anyway, I just thought I'd share. These are the storms that are all heading to the west. In the last 30 minutes, where are they now? They've gone from the plateau, now sliding into the valley. We had a little downpour through Neyland Stadium, Market Square. We had some activity perhaps near, Imes Nature Center and Meads Quarry. And that's beginning to work its way into northern Sevier County. Hence, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning for Sevier County. That's till 4:15. Till 4:15. But all this is working its way east. You can see that the finish line is what's west of Cookeville, right? I know we're all dreaming to have this go away. I'm looking at Bowling Green. They're in the clear. Portland's in the clear. This little box is going to get bigger, right? These are the areas that are dealing with no rain. And eventually, even though when this rain moves away, we could still get a few flare-ups. But nothing as intense as what's coming in right now. In fact, speaking of right now, it's 3:20. It's time to figure out what on earth is going on as far as these warnings. We've got one that's in Claiborne and Granger till 3:30. One that includes Kodak, Sevierville, Jefferson City till 4:15. One for Knox County till 4:15 now. Farragut runs till 3:45. Lenoir City as well. Areas around Roane County, 4 o'clock. We've got Wartburg, Morgan County till 5 o'clock for an aerial flood advisory. Campbell County till 5 p.m. Spring City, Ray County till 4. Sweetwater till 4. McMinn County, Athens till 3:30. And Monroe County till 3:30. So clearly, far and away, a lot of activity still working its way here. I'm going to start to the north and west. We have some downpours in Jamestown and Shirley, but not severe for you. I know that's probably a little consequence if you're watching from those areas, but you're not under the box definition of the severe thunderstorm. But Sunbright is. Elizabeth is. Wartburg is. Tyler, if you're watching, one of my premium members in the Wartburg area, Lansing, he's got downpours and he keeps great rainfall records. He's probably picking up quite a bit of rain at this particular time. In fact, I might have, let me see if I don't have. I think I have. You know, how about the rainfall rate? Ooh, it went purple. What does that mean? Well, let's do the eyedropper. Right around Lansing. Let's see. Maybe 7 inches an hour? That can't be right. Oh, no way. 4.5? Well, the point is it's not going to be there for an hour. And this is exactly what Leah was trying to communicate. She said, that's the most rain I've ever had in 15 minutes, an inch. Wow. Is it any wonder? You got this torrential rain, dew points off the chart. Is it any wonder that some might be getting 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain an hour, but this wasn't here 30 minutes ago? See what I mean? It's just like it just rolled in, and it may be gone in 15 minutes, but it's going to do its damage. So please take my word on this. With high dew points, you're going to find a lot of heavy rain that's going to surprise you. I don't want you to be surprised. Because it's not a tornado, and sometimes people like roll their eyes, oh, it's just weather. It's just weather. Yeah, but it's kind of heavy rain. It's like turn around, don't drown type of weather. So please be extra careful. I'm looking down further south toward Dearmont, Oakdale, heading west toward Harriman, Deerwood, and south toward Rockwood. Cardiff, you're getting some heavy rain for you. As we head back down toward, looks like down into just west of Sweetwater. We have some heavy rain working towards Sweetwater in Philadelphia and down toward Decatur, which I believe Angel was, I believe she was in Decatur. Anyway, Sonia said lots of more rumbles of thunder in Carnes. I think it's just going to get started. You're going to get more. Expect more, Sonia. Thank you for that note. Alexandria Long is on here. What are the wind speeds coming into Monroe County? Many of them are running, in many cases, anywhere from 30, 40, 50. We saw that in the velocity map just a moment ago. But they have the potential to reach 60 plus. I just don't think it's as bad as what we had on Monday. But not everybody dealt with that, right? So everybody has a different thing. Oh, I got a note from Darcy. She says, support David Aldrich on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. Absolutely, get the word out. I'm going to go back to YouTube because many of you who may not be on YouTube can maybe put your comment in there and subscribe to my channel because I'm growing that too. I need to do that. Michael Hawk says, nope, it didn't hit 90. He was correct. It felt like 97. It was only 88. That's weird. That's the dew point. Steven Snyder says, hot, hot, hot. Glad to have Steven. He understands hot. He spent a lot of time in Texas, I can tell you that. Texas hot is a different type of hot than we have. By the way, downpours in Athens, Nyota right now. It's about to downpour in buckets in Lenoir City and Loudoun. All of this is headed to the east. I can see that. This is the last 30 minutes. You think it's going to hit Lenoir City? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You think we're going to get under the red? Yes, I'm pretty sure. But I'm in Lenoir City. It's not doing it like that. Not yet. Give it a few minutes. Give it 15 minutes. Sugar Limb and Lenoir City will have heavy rain knocking on the door. That's just how things are. And again, it's all associated with a severe thunderstorm warning for Loudoun County till 3:45. 3:45. So a lot to take in, obviously, with Loudoun there at 3:45. And it's now 3:23. Heading further, where should we go? North or south? I didn't mention as much. Etowah, they're getting pounded, as is Addison, but Madisonville, not quite yet. You probably have another 15, 20 minutes before Madisonville starts to feel the brunt of what's now rolling across Acme Mill, Nyota, and now Sweetwater. So this is associated with a severe thunderstorm warning till 3:30 over here. Again, if you're just joining me, thank you for spending some time on your Saturday afternoon with Captain Accurate Weather. One of the things I love, the fact is I'm able to give you the bird's eye view of what we're seeing. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, right? If I took my telestrator and got, see, 1 here, 2 here, I got 3 in here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's probably 10. I'd say at least 10. Some of them overlap, but there's a lot. 10 severe thunderstorm warnings, but no tornado warnings. And so far, no flash flood warnings. But we do have an aerial flood advisory, and to me, it could be a symptom of the fact that we have high dew points, so when it rains, it pours. I mean, it really pours. We're seeing that in some of the rainfall rates, as I looked at just a moment ago. In fact, that's really what you see here. That's a lot of rain. That's inches per hour. Where you see purple is at least 4. Where you see purple would be at least 4. And if I take everything else off, you can see there are some areas that are coming in where the rainfall is going to be torrential. So it's like suddenly my driveway has become a river. I've seen those comments before. And with that type of purple area heading into your town potentially, that could be your situation. Your driveway could suddenly become like a river. So please be extra careful. Felicia Crafty Adventures, she says, rain on YouTube. Rain has passed in Island Home, and it feels a lot cooler than 86. Isn't that something? Like the cooling effect. And that's what you have that to look forward to as we look at these intense rainfall rates in purple. Again, says 4 inches. You say, are you sure about that? Even if it's half right, Wouldn't that grab your attention? 2 inches an hour? But the problem is, or maybe the benefit is, it's not going to stay over your town for an hour. It's going to keep on moving, and it's going to do its thing as it moves to the east. That's what we're seeing with these high rainfall rates and the high rainfall, the inches per hour. Back on YouTube, I'm looking at some new notes from Alexandria Long. She says, okay, great. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Glad to help out. If you let me know what town you're in. She's in Monroe County. She mentioned that. But I can also look at some of the winds for you as you were interested as it comes into the Madisonville area. That could also have some benefit at this moment. Let's turn this off, go back to the radar, and you can see where all the storms are right now. We can clearly throw in some lightning. We know that kind of makes the map very busy. Throws in over 8,400. That's the highest total number of strikes that I've seen on this image. Let me go back to my home view here, essentially. That's 6,900. So that's still pretty high. The lightning has not slowed down at all. And now, knock on wood, we have our first flash flood warning. Are you sure about that? Yeah, it's not flashing red, it's burgundy. If it were flashing red, what do you think that might be? Tornado warning. But that's not a tornado. That is a flash flood warning for Scott County and Morgan County, right? Till 6:30 this evening. Do you really think it's going to be raining there at 6:30? No, 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 no. This will be long gone by 6:30, but the runoff will last. It'll like have left its mark. We've got a brand new Blount County severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15. Until 4:15, and you'll notice there that 4:15, that will be what's moving into the Madisonville area. So again, flash flood warning. Most precious thing is time. We don't want people driving through standing water. That's a no-no for sure. But please turn around, don't drown. This is one of the situations where high dew points this strong. People are like, I had no idea a sinkhole was forming, or I had no idea that the road was compromised. These things happen, and that's very important to note. All right, flash flood warning. Let's get into this area because it is multiple counties, and I want everybody to see this. This includes Oak Hill. It includes Braytown. It includes Wartburg. It includes Dearmont Grove and Petros, Elizabeth. Does it include Lansing? The answer is no, but it does include Wartburg, probably once you get a little bit further on 27. Liberty, Union, Petros, these are the areas. Hembry are under the flash flood warning. And if we look at, the accumulation, why would they draw the box here? Because all of these areas are now approaching probably a lot more. They're suggesting 1 to 2 inches have already fallen with more on the way. So that's consistent with what we're seeing here, right? We take this off. There's almost 2 inches around Hembry and about 1.5 inches near Wartburg and Elizabeth. Petros has had maybe a ½ inch. It doesn't look like it's been as bad there, but there's some areas that have had 1.7. So flash flood warning, for what it's worth, is in effect for west central Anderson, southeastern Morgan, south central Scott County until 6:30. And they're saying this thunderstorm, Doppler indicated about 1 to 2 inches have already fallen, and flash flooding is ongoing or will begin shortly. So this would affect Wartburg, Frozen Head State Park, Petros, and Rosedale. So just wanted to give you that perspective because this is the first, in fact, it's the very first flash flood warning we've had issued in our viewing area today. All the others have been severe thunderstorm warnings or an aerial flood advisory. Quick question on the winds. What do you think the winds are now approaching Madisonville? It's already affecting Wartburg, already affecting Sweetwater and Nyota. But if we go back to the velocity here, there's some hot spots, no doubt. Let me turn this off and get back into my little eyedropper here. Suggests it's 54. Madisonville, around 53. And it's approaching Von Orr. So you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Wind speeds in these spots could be anywhere from 35, 36 to 50, 55 or stronger. Please be extra careful. Some areas south of Spring City suggesting 63. So hopefully that helps Alexandria, who had questions about Monroe County. Audrey saying Dog Point, 100% Maryville. Dog Point, Dew Point, Dog Point. It's amazing what type of environment that kind of humidity can do when all you need is a spark. That was my expression I used with my premium members this morning. It only takes a spark. It only takes a spark to get the storminess going today. And lo and behold, it's here. I got other notes, perhaps, on YouTube. Oh, Brandy Rogers, hello from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Brandy, happy to see you. I hope maybe you have an East Tennessee tie or connection, And if you do, we love the fact that you're here. But we're focused on severe weather in East Tennessee. Love to have you visit the Smokies, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and Gatlinburg anytime. But there's so much more beauty here, too. You don't have to just confine it to the Smokies. But I'm happy to have you guys here. Let me get back to the radar. Velocity, 54, 53, 63, 36. We're looking at Nyota, Sweetwater, Philadelphia, just to name a few. And if we kind of turn this off and expand the view, I'm going to take off the actual warnings. There are some very strong winds going on in Morgan County right now. That would suggest, based on this analysis here, about 50 miles an hour potentially. Some of that could be working its way down to the surface, and some of it may not. But please be aware, 57 west of Oak Ridge, maybe near Clinton, 40, Harriman, maybe 40, and some areas further south of Lake Tansy, maybe 58. So strong winds, downpours, lightning, it's all a package deal. And it doesn't cost you anything. It just comes to town and does its thing, and then hopefully it'll be on its merry little way. But we're going to get back here to the radars. I turn this off, go back to the home view, and let's take a look at some of the towns. And also, first and foremost, we have severe thunderstorm watches till 8 o'clock for towns east of Knox County. So Jefferson County till 8, Sevier County till 8, Blount County till 7, Knox County is until 7. But more pressing are the severe thunderstorm warnings. Jefferson County is now under a severe thunderstorm warning, as is Sevier County. And this one for Sevier County is working its way right now through Oak City. It's working its way through Catlettsburg at 3:57, as projected, if not sooner. And it could be in the doorstep of Sevierville by as early as 4 o'clock. As early as 4 o'clock. So that's just the way things are shaping up. We'll be watching this closely as well. But notice the winds, it's moving east at 20. These are not moving at 40 or 50 or 60. So they're not moving as fast as you would hope. I wouldn't say they're crawling either because it's moving east at 20. But the BTI here is 2.8 on the low scale of the tornado index. And hail, there's an 80% chance that hail is forming with some of these storms. Let's go back toward Madisonville. I'm going to take this one off. This one affects, let's see, parts of Blount and Monroe County. And this one puts it in, let's move this to the top. This one moves it toward Madisonville at 3:43. So you got about 11 more minutes before it hits Madisonville. Phillips, 3:48. Kincaid at 3:49. And Hopewell Springs at 3:52. So 3:52. Some of the times that there obviously are on the screen. If you have some comments, let me know. Thank you to Will and to Lee and to Steven Snyder and to Brandy Rogers. She's watching. That's good news. And then we have on Facebook, because I'm doing both at the same time. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. I got Shauna Thompson. She says, if I said that right, she says, thanks, David. You're welcome. And Fred's on here. Fred Winchenbach says, thank you for keeping us informed. My pleasure. I know that this is not how you would have wanted to spend your Saturday, watching me talk about storms that are waiting to pass because you have outdoor plans. Believe me, you would hope, or I would have hoped, that we would have had a much quieter Saturday, but the environment is too far gone. We have such high humidity, high dew points, that all it takes is a trigger, all it takes is a spark for the storminess to get going. Just if you're just joining me, our highest temperature today, you're going to say it's no way, was 88 degrees. That's as high as it got. We've had some rain come through Knox County, so now it's 78, so that we've dropped 10 degrees in 1 hour. What do you think the dew point is right now? Last check, it was 77, now it's 67. So it's dropped. And so our feels-like temperature is not going to be as high as it was just a few minutes ago. But I can tell you this, at officially 3 o'clock, it was 97 was the feels-like, and that's come down to 79. But there's a 97 there in Athens. That's still there, and Newport 94. So it's all perception-based. Wind speeds that we're getting from McGee-Tyson, last check was 10, but some of those yellow and green areas would suggest 20, 30 miles per hour or higher. And we've already looked at some of the velocity of potential wind speeds are much, much higher than what you see there. All right, running back to the Ultimate Doppler Radar, presented by InstaDry, foundation repair, basement waterproofing, crawl space encapsulation. They do it all. Get a free estimate at instadry.com. They also do hail damage as well. InstaDry doing quite a bit with the storminess in that type of environment. So please be mindful if you're you're in need of some services, check him out. He can do a great job and does a great job for many, many years. Notice looking at here off to the east, Sevier County severe thunderstorm heading to the east at 31 miles per hour would put some storms, as I mentioned, around Lakeside 349, Phillips 349, and Von Orr at 353. As I'm beginning to hear some of the thunder myself, I'm in West Knox County, so there's a lot of thunder still yet to come, as illustrated just on this image alone. Wow, quite a bit. It's like a lightning show. This is one of the things where you like maybe kind of get hunkered down until these storms pass, and they eventually will. But we have on this image alone over 6,500 lightning strikes. Sonia says, nice heavy raindrops in Carnes. Ellen says, sure miss you on TV. Well, you know what? I just want to say, I did a whole year up in Lexington. A lot of people don't know this, but I traveled up to Lexington at Fox 56 for a full year. But now I do more like a fill-in type of situation. But what's happened is that so many people are looking at their weather on their phone and kind of looking at their phone more than they are their TV. So in many ways, it's been a blessing. But at the same time, I do appreciate the sentiment. Ellen, thank you for that note. Alexandria Long says, me too. And Sonia says, nice heavy drops in Carnes. Wanda Poe says, will a storm come to Newport eventually? I do think you'll get a storm in Newport, but you're off to the side here, right? Newport's on this side of the screen. All these storms are headed your way. So you might be a little bit late to the party, but they'll be the last to get out of your neck of the woods here in the next couple of hours. It's now 3:36. So make sense of this map, why don't you? There's a lot of lightning here, a lot of downpours. The rainfall rates are off the chart, and obviously the power. We didn't even talk so much about the power in the last few minutes. Do you think there could be some power outages? It depends on how strong these winds are, perhaps. But I don't think it'll be as bad as it was on Monday. That question came up earlier in the day by someone on Facebook. Now, here's the latest at 3:30. And anytime I see green on my legend, that's at least 5,000 power outages. So Cumberland County, if you're hearing my voice on your phone, Crossville, Lake Tansy, Fairfield Glade, this is just an update. You have lost 7,500 people with power. You're kind of like, that's the worst part, the worst county right now at the moment. 700 residents are without power in Fentress County. Say Morgan County, 200. 200 there in Scott County. Union's lost 200, about 100 in Granger. How many do you think in Knox? 900. 900. So it's significant. It may not be your home, but again, make sure that you have your phone charged as best you can, or have some way to make sure you have a way to get updates. That's key. But this again is compliments of the county total, the power outages by county, as we see it coming in at this particular time. Turn this back off. Let's jump back to the radar. I want to focus on some good news here because it will get better, but it's not about to get better in the next minute or two. Notice this is what I'm looking forward to, right? Bowling Green over here, Clarksville, Nashville, this area in here, right? This is going to expand because in the next 30 minutes, this is where things have been and where they're going. They're coming right into downtown. So if you're in Knoxville, the worst is about to hit us, right? It doesn't mean it's going to be anything worse than your expectation, but the heart of the storminess is now approaching the Center Valley. It's already moving into the Southern Valley. But this is what we're going to see, is we're going to see towns like Clarksville, Nashville, Murfreesboro start to expand into Jamestown, Wartburg, Crossville in the coming minutes and hours. And that's what I want to focus on. If we go back, which I can easily do, and I want to see where we are at this moment, because I want everyone to focus on where things are right now. And I want to show you where we're going to be in 1 hour from now, right? So this is the next 60 minutes. This is where things are going to be in 60 minutes from now. This is 4:39. Let me go back. So this is 3:39. We're going to do a time, like a time machine. This is what's coming in now. Look how this progresses. Follow the red areas. Clinton, Knoxville, heads down toward Newport. Newport gets in some of the rain here, right? There it is. Moves into Newport, probably about 4:15. So you get some heavy downpours from Blaine, Morristown, Maryville, and then it works its way to the east. But I would say once the red parts move away from where you are, that you're going to see some big improvements. It looks like Jellicoe starts to see big improvement by the next 60 minutes. Jamestown for sure will feel a lot better once the rain gets out of their hair by as early as 4:39. That's an hour, or 4:40 Eastern time, an hour from now. But this just gives us some intel of where the heavier rains are going, and they clearly by far and away will be headed toward Union County and perhaps into southern Blount County in the next 60 minutes. So That's just where I wanted to show you. That's what the benefit. And this little feature, by the way, is absolutely on every Captain Accurate weather app. If you have the Captain Accurate weather app, you're like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. You didn't know that you had at your disposal, click your heels, you go back to Kansas. You didn't know you could see the future radar in 1 hour unless you went on and toggled it under the tab. It's still there. So that's where the future radar takes us. I'm excited the fact that everybody has that, and I worked hard to get that on the app. This is all coming into play right now at your 340. Have quite a few warnings to outline. You can see up here in Hancock County was added till 4:15. That also includes areas in Hawkins County till 4:15. If you're near Tazewell, 4:15. Severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible, but not necessarily uniformly going to develop. Areas in Sevier County, Knox County till 4:15. Jefferson County, 4:15. Downtown Knoxville, 3:45. Loudoun, about 4:15. Flash flood warning for Morgan County, for parts of Anderson, parts of Morgan, and Scott County till 6:30 because they've already had 1 to 2 inches of rain or more. Some areas in Monroe County have had a lot of rain as well. That lasts till 4:15. And you can see some areas around Decatur will last until 4 o'clock for their severe thunderstorm warning. So a lot of boxes. Last time I checked, it was close to 8 or 10. 8 or 10 severe thunderstorm warnings. I have 1 flash flood warning. And in the green box, we have an aerial flood advisory until 5 o'clock. I got a note from Debbie. Debbie Long Shrewsbury. She's one of my Facebook premium members. Glad to see Debbie. She said, "Good afternoon, David. I'll be driving into work in about 1 hour." Well, let's hope. We saw the 1 hour of future radar. The heavier reds, which is just nothing more than reflectivity, those heavier reds will be on the east side. So if you're in the Powell area, if you're in the Clinton area, you'll see maybe some improvement. It'll still be raining, but maybe not as ferociously as it has in the last few minutes. Janet Potts has been raining in Talbot for the last 15, 20 minutes with plenty of thunder. Thanks for the live, David. My pleasure. That's why I'm here. I'm also on YouTube, so if you have a comment, let me know. I have somebody who speaks Spanish. Love the fact that Spanish is here, but I don't speak Spanish, so I'm kind of at a loss. But they do write a lot of notes. I'll have to go back and look and translate as best I can. Michael says, Michael Hawk, getting thunder, and it just started to sprinkle rain here. Good to know, Michael. The worst is coming for you, and it'll be coming for Newport eventually. I say the worst, meaning what you've had so far is just an appetizer, because you're on the east side, right? This hasn't reached Morristown and Newport yet, but it'll be working its way here, and eventually it will. Kay Fowler says, thunder and lightning, no rain yet. Dog is hiding, LOL. You know that's the litmus test. I've had more people in my 20-plus years of doing this where they say, I can tell if it's severe because my dog is under the bed. I'm like, that's not how we judge a storm, but I get that. Everybody has their own thing. Or it's their arthritis kicking in. They know a storm's coming. Everybody has their own little, or the fogs. The fogs in August. You know, if you count them up, it's supposed to lead to the answer of how many snows are we going to get this winter. People are doing that. You know that. They're counting the fogs in August. And I'm playing along because I want to see what happens. Trudy says, getting dark, starting to thunder near the airport. Trudy, thank you for that. She's on YouTube, and I'm on youtube.com/@CaptainAccurate. You have to put the @ symbol in there, but at Captain Accurate, you'll find me. Awesome. Love to have you subscribe to my Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I'm on both Facebook and YouTube at this particular time. Michael Norman says, thank you for keeping us aware. My pleasure. Michael is one of my premium members. He's also an extraordinary, great videographer. As many of you saw, a couple months back, we did a thing on Hardin Valley Middle School and 6th graders and Marco's Pizza and a Weather Wednesdays school visit. Michael was there to capture that video, and it's awesome. It's still, it's pinned on top of this Facebook page. If you want to check it out, he does great work. By the way, the Ultimate Doppler Radar presented by InstaDry, foundation repair, basement waterproofing, as well as crawl space encapsulation. If you need a free estimate, check him out, instadry.com. Kevin Jardin's been doing this for over 30 years. He also does some help with hail damage. So if you got hail issues, he can help you out as well. And speaking of hail, have we had any? That's the question. Some would say yes, some would say no. If we take off all the other noise from this particular map, like lightning, and we could see where things have been in the last hour. There's been some hail. It's possible, right? Looks like it's south of Knoxville. Maybe it's moved through, maybe in South Knoxville, maybe not far from Vestal, working its way into Sevier County. So these are the areas at least are showing up. Doesn't mean it always verifies, but where the hail tracker suggests is where it's been, that would be it. Going back to, let's see here, we'll turn the loop off and take a look at the radar, because we haven't looked at necessarily town to town as much here in the last few minutes, so I think we're going to do that. Lightning is obviously off the chart. We have the flash flood warning that always concerns me. When we have a heavy rains, the Weather Service will issue these, and they, again, with high dew points, they've come down a bit now in the last hour, but when it rains, it pours. This includes Wartburg, Petros, as well as Hembry, which has had quite a bit of rain. I talked about the fact that we've had, in just this short period of time, 6 hours, right? Look at this bullseye. I had a feeling, 2.6. Around Hembry, 2.1, 2.4. So you've had a lot of rain in areas west and southwest of Hembry, and just be extra careful. Goby, maybe 1.5 inches. Wartburg, maybe near Lansing, where Tyler is, maybe 3/4, maybe not as much. But these are the spots that cause a lot. Now, keep in mind, a month's worth of rain, at least in Knoxville, in August is 3.63. So 3.63 is what Knoxville expects to get every August, on average. But these are obviously close to 2, 2.5. In some cases, you have almost a half month's worth, a little more than that, in just a short few hours of time. Kind of curious to see, with all these downpours, if we go back down toward Etowah, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect till 4:15. That's a half hour from now. Etowah, Mecca, head up toward Madisonville. It's now raining hard in Von Orr. Von Orr is beautiful. I did a spotlight there many months ago, but if you haven't checked out those pictures, I hope you'll do so. Surrounded by water, but beautiful, just wonderful town. And I had a great chance to talk with the mayor and stuff, so it was good stuff. Von Orr is getting pounded, by the way. Greenback, Big Springs, Friendsville, downpours. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning in Blount County till 4:45. Again, possibility these winds are off the chart. Probably not quite as like they were on Monday, but they're still strong. And if I do a little quick check here, I'm seeing some bright areas around Oak Ridge. Let's see, how strong do you think that is? Over 50? Yep. Carnes, maybe around 54. Farragut, about 44. So there's some winds. It doesn't mean all this is going to translate, but if that's what's going on just a few miles aloft, it could come down and create some power outages or damage to trees. So the winds are strong enough for the National Weather Service to issue their severe thunderstorm warnings, as I mentioned, for so many of these counties. And that's just kind of where things are. Downtown Knoxville getting its next rain round. It's affecting Inskip. It's affecting Lonsdale. It's affecting Marble City. So if you're in Knoxville proper, and I'm talking about, let's see if we can get some track on this. This one puts at the heart of this in that direction. It puts things, Bearden, 352, West Haven, 353, Lions View at 354. And this particular storm, as you can see, if it does anything worth noting, is it gives you an idea of how fast it's moving. It's moving east at 29 miles per hour. So if this is moving east at 29, let's do our own little track. Let's do a little track like this and just move it out 29 miles per hour. See who's next in line for this particular storm. There's 29. That would put it in Lakemont, Vestal right now. Fountain City is getting some rain at this moment. Greenway, 350. North Knoxville may feel the brunt of this at 350, a minute. Smithwood, 350. Little River at 351. Got a little note. Our first confirmation of hail. It was small. We had small hail in Halls earlier, says Debbie Long, Shrewsbury. Thank you very much, Debbie. I appreciate it. Maybe it lines up with the pink areas that we were looking at just a moment ago. Will Mayberry says visibility is very low right now, I would imagine. And it may be like dark. You don't feel like it's in the middle of the afternoon. It's 3:49, but skies may look very, very dark. And he's in Marble City. So if he's in Marble City, he's right in the middle of all this hubbubaloo, right? He's in the middle of all this that's going on. And it's very important that you make sure your neighbors are aware that storms are coming through. And I mentioned a couple of times about kids in the playground or the soccer field or maybe by the pool. Maybe they're by the boat or the lake. They certainly want to make sure that they're indoors away from the lightning that's coming into town. But I see some heavy rains down toward Dandridge. And now Newport has been added. Cocke County, hello, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45. 4:45. And if this is also moving, potentially, at the same rate as the other one, 29 miles per hour. It's probably going to be right here. Should be around, say, maybe Newport in, probably closer to the top of the hour. Around 4:06 is Maple Spring. Dandridge 3:53. Bird Cross Road 3:57. And Swan at 3:59. So we're getting closer to 4 o'clock. We have some downpours around Sevierville, and some of that is potentially severe. So the Weather Service has now issued a severe thunderstorm warning till 4:45 for Cocke County. We got some activity around Seymour, Bayview, and not far from Boyd's Creek, and New Era and Sevierville at this point. Union Grove getting some heavy rain at this particular time. But there's no doubt it's now affecting downtown Knoxville, Middlebrook Pike, I-40, Mechanicsville, Lonsdale. It's coming down in buckets, right? Buckets. And I might get an update here at 4 o'clock. Let me see if I have visibility map at my disposal, and I think I do. Yeah, here it is. See if this comes in. See, that's McGee Tyson. So I think you're getting the heavy rain, and it's also going to reduce visibility in many, many spots. But the ultimate Doppler radar is showing heavy rain now on Gay Street, on downtown Knoxville, Mechanicsville, Magnolia Avenue, Western Avenue. You pick the avenue, they're getting heavy rain now from Bearden to Marble City to Lonsdale and Inskip. And this is all associated with a severe thunderstorm warning that lasts until 4:45. I mentioned the winds are probably going to be a factor. They could add or contribute to more loss of power. That's certainly a possibility. Alan says hello. I got a note from Alan. Says Corrigan is getting a lot of hard rain at this hour. So thank you, Alan, for that confirmation. And it looks like Adriana Smith says, just got shocked by my charger during the last strike. That's scary. That is definitely scary, for sure. On YouTube, we go back to YouTube, and Felicia Crafty Adventure says the power is out in Island Home now. And that's not good, right? So this is going to be an evolving situation where you got torrential rain, you got a lightning show, and you got some winds that are going to be closing it on 60 miles an hour. Maybe they're just under 60, but a combination of the three can put some stress, no doubt, on trees and power lines. It's just the way it naturally goes. But there's Knoxville, right? We have that going on at the moment. We have the severe thunderstorm warning till 4:45. We heard just a second ago from Felicia saying that Island Home is without power. So let's do that. Let's take a look at the power outages and expand the view for those who might just be joining me. We've seen this kind of move a little bit. Follow the red areas. Normally it's, I guess, using the Dorothy Wizard of Oz theme, follow the yellow brick road. Everybody seems like they're under a yellow watch or a yellow severe thunderstorm warning. But I want you to focus on where the most active weather right now, in terms of reflectivity, is the red areas, right? That's the more intense rain. And it's in Knoxville, it's Marble City, it's Mechanicsville, it's Fountain City, it's Amherst, it's Rocky Hill, it's Arrowhead, and Lakemont. Rain is coming down in buckets around the airport right now, right? So maybe, like, I guess it was 2 days ago, we had a rainfall record. We had 2.53. We broke the old record of 2.10 from 1920. Every day of the year has a rainfall record. Just like every day of the year has a record high, record low, and so on. But McGee Tyson is right in the crosshairs of some heavy rain at this moment. Be interested to see what they're getting. Because if we look at the rainfall rates, yeah, it's starting to turn purple west of McGee Tyson. And the purple is 4 inches. Look at the legend here. Legend is 4 inches in purple. And if I just do a little eyedropper check around McGee Tyson, we suggest it's close to 5, maybe 6, maybe 6.5. So again, doesn't mean it's going to stick around for an hour. It won't. But if it's coming down at that rate, sometimes it's the rainfall rate that causes drivers to pull over and go, man, I didn't ever seen rain like that before. High dew points typically see that type of dramatic type of weather. But that's affecting around the airport at this moment. And over the last hour, it wasn't anywhere near the airport, but now it is. And now it's rolled back into the west part of Knoxville and Knox County, and causing a lot of headaches, no doubt. According to KUB, she says over 2,000 in the Island Home are without power. Thank you, Felicia. She's on YouTube. I'm reading her comment. Thank you very much. And Steve Stone says it's very dark in Rockford. This is no wonder, right? This is the worst of it. This is the crescendo. This is the storminess in the red reflectivity department of reaching its fever pitch. And I just happen to show you the rainfall rates because I can show you, hey, it's raining, but there's rain and then there's rain. There's sprinkles and then there's gully washers, right? Anything that's pink is kind of like a gully washer, and that's what many of us are seeing now, right through the heart of Knoxville, down towards, say, Blount County, and now stretching into Monroe County. So please be extra careful. I know we have one flash flood warning in effect right now. That's parts of Morgan, parts of Anderson, and parts of Scott County until 6:30, but there may be others added. It's very reasonable to expect that there will be added towns or counties to that particular pattern. So this is where things are at the moment. But this is affecting downtown at the moment, and you can see the worst of it is centered right through Knoxville, and it's continuing to work its way to the east. So all of this heading to the east right now. Let's throw in some lightning. Goodness, a lot of lightning here. This is 3,700 lightning strikes, but if I go back to my home view, it's still over 6,300. And some of that may have already occurred, but that's kind of what gives you a bird's eye view of what we're dealing with. Power outages. Good question. What are we seeing? Has it changed? That's the question. Let me jump over and look at the power outages by county. And you can see, yeah, there's a lot more. Other counties that were not even colored are now colored, like Scott County, 4,500 power outages. What about Cumberland County? 9,000? Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, it keeps going up. Fentress County, up to 700. Campbell County, 1,000 power outages. If you lost power in the next half hour or so, and you're in Hamlin County or Jefferson County, would you be ready? Would that, obviously it would disappoint you, it would disappoint me, because I would no longer be alive, no longer be live on Facebook, YouTube, if I lost power. But I can tell you this, Anderson County, it looks like it's been spared so far, and until the weather computer updates, there doesn't appear to be any power outages yet in the Blount County area. That could change. What about Knoxville? 3,500. 300 in Union. 100. Claiborne County, Granger County, 100. And Sevier County, 400. What am I missing? Loudon County, 1,000. Decatur, let's see, Spring City, about 1,500 near you, 200 there. Cookville, Putnam County, about 100, and 100 there. But this, again, is our local region. Bell County, Middlesboro, about 100 have lost power. Does it compare with other parts of the state? And it doesn't look like, it looks like Cumberland County is the worst hard-hit county of the state, because Nashville is about 2,000. So that's where power outages are at this particular moment. Trudy Davis says, yes, it's pouring near the airport. Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine. And then we'll look at, as we look at these power outages, more may be coming, and I think you should suspect more are on the way in spots as this continues to work its way to the east. Let me do 30 minutes, but let me just put this up here so this can be a little helpful. These watches, I got to turn the lightning off. It gets so noisy. Let's see here. There you go. That's the last 30 minutes. Now, you can assume that these red areas, Knoxville, heading toward Maryville, McGee-Tyson, Kodak, they're going to be moving along pretty nicely toward the Cosby, Newport, Morristown area in the next 30 minutes. Now, some of the heavier rains may go from Knoxville Point southeastward toward Gatlinburg, and Morristown may not get much more than what they're getting right now. Because I'm looking at the showers around Oneida, looking at the showers around La Follette, and some of that may make its way toward, say, Granger, Hamlin County, but it may not all reach in time before the thing falls apart. Hopefully it'll fall apart because it's already drying out north of Jamestown. North of Jamestown. Now, I'm looking at the latest report from the airport. McGee-Tyson Airport, as of 3 o'clock, had only 0.14. And I can guarantee you they've got more than 0.14 now, because that red area is centered right over the airport. And we've been expanding some of those severe thunderstorm warnings in yellow, no doubt, across much of this particular area. So we'll go back. I'll stop the clock. We're going to go start all over again here, at least for a few more minutes, as it's almost 4 o'clock. And we're going to recap what we have in terms of warnings, what we have in terms of future radar. In fact, I think it's probably be a good way to start. So let's start with the future. Because some of you are like, is this going to go on forever? No, it's not going to go on forever. This is the 3:59. Let's just round up. Say this is 4 o'clock, where we are now, and here's where we're going. So, whoa, that's 5 o'clock. Go back in time. Doodaloo, doodaloo. It's like Wayne's World. That's what we're doing. The 1 hour future radar. because I can do storm tracking all day, but I think this graphically shows you how and where the red spots are going. You see the rain that's around Blaine? It's kind of an orange-yellow, not as intense. And that'll make its way to Morristown, probably after 5 o'clock. But the heavier rains that are affecting Knoxville and the airport right now are likely to drift toward Gatlinburg and into the mountains of North Carolina, Bryson City. See what I mean? This is a projection of where the rain will be precisely 1 hour from now. Because it's top of the hour, it's 4 o'clock now, but in 5 o'clock, there will not be a drop of rain anywhere near Fentress, well, say nowhere near Jamestown, and certainly not Monticello, because things will have improved. And they will likely be improving in Cookeville. So as we're looking at the 5 o'clock outlook, because we have so many severe thunderstorm warnings to go back over, we will still have a flash flood warning, I'm sure, because that will run still 6:30, whether it's raining or not. But these are the areas like Monticello, Jamestown. This is projected 1 hour from now. Cookeville will be in the clear. Sparta will be in the clear. And soon enough, probably before 5:30, I suspect you'll see some big improvements in Wartburg and Crossville by 5:30. But where's the hot spots? The red spots are over here toward Newport and Cosby and south toward Bryson City. And we just popped in a brand new aerial flood advisory till 6 for Knox County, as the Weather Service has deemed appropriate. So that's where we are at the moment. That's pretty much where things are in terms of severe weather. Let me go back to the radar real quick. And now we have aerial flood advisory till 6. If you're just joining me, we have a flash flood warning for the Wartburg and Hembree area till 6:30. We have an aerial flood advisory till 5 for Campbell County. Blaine until 4:15. That's a few minutes from now. And you can see we've got Knox, looks like till 6 o'clock for the aerial flood advisory, but may very well be till 4:45 Blount County for the severe thunderstorm warning, and Knox County till 4:45. Looks like Cocke County until 4:45, and parts of Blount, Monroe County till 4:15. So I hope that helps. I know there's just obviously a lot to digest with some of these storms, but I did want to leave some time for your questions. And clearly, this is not tornadic, but you got to respect, as a famous meteorologist once said, respect the polygon. I'm talking about James Spann down in Alabama. These are things you just want to make sure you respect Mother Nature, let it play its course. All these storms are going to be heading to the east. Trudy Davis says it has been raining hard in the airport. Steve Stone says very dark at the airport. I'm looking over here. Steve Stone says on YouTube, very dark in Rockford. That's generally what happens. Kevin Bennett says, no, it ain't. It's not here in Newport. Not yet. But as we just saw, it's about to be in Newport here in a few minutes. You are technically, Newport, under a severe thunderstorm warning in Cocke County till 4:45. So Newport may not be getting the heavy rain yet, but it's coming. So be patient. It'll come. Thank you for all those who've been on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. That helps me grow as well. I'd like to reach as many of you as I can, as we have now 19 people watching us on YouTube, and I'm sure many more perhaps on Facebook here. Pauline says, oh yeah, here it comes. Alcoa Maryville, Hall Road area, power's flickering. That's not pleasant. That's never pleasant. Audrey says the power's flickering in Maryville, and Christian Brown says thanks for the update. Power's just flickered in Wallen. So are you ready? Is your phone charged? Are you ready? Do you have an alternative source? You say, yeah, I can go to my car and got a phone charger. People have a lot of ways to keep the power their devices, but again, just know that this could be a minor setback during the rest of the afternoon or early evening. We still have severe thunderstorm watch, which means that we're watching closely the potential for storms. I suspect even though that runs till 8 east of Knox County, runs till 7 for Knox County West, that could also expire early. So just stay tuned. If you have the app, the Captain Accurate Weather app is free. It's been around for 3.5, 4 years now, and I got to tell you, it's awesome. The secret sauce is, well, one, you get all the National Weather Service alerts, plus you get the lightning alerts, but you get 3 Barron exclusive alerts. That's the secret sauce. Twisting storm approaching. That was triggered when the tornado warning wasn't. And so Michael Norman, one of my premium members, also noted, he said, I got lots of weather apps. Yours is the only one that told me about the tornado. So this is why I say it's important to get the right app. This is world class. It's free. And Pete Michaels, Traffic, is on the app. You can grab that as well. Mentioned Knox County till 4:45. That's until 4:45. We have Blount County till 4:30. Here's now 4:05. And that flash flood warning until 6:30. So be watching that closely. Anyway, I have gone on perhaps maybe a little longer than I had intended, but I wanted to at least be here to kind of answer any questions that you might have. Wanda Post says, thank you, David, for being here. And Kelsey says power is out in Wallen. That's not a good sign. That is a hard sign to take because, again, we started off with high dew points that climbed as high as 77. I can't remember. Honestly, I cannot remember the last time McGee Tyson had a 77-degree dew point. That might be a question to ask the Weather Service. It's not something you get every day, but it usually when you're 75 to 80, you're almost assured if there's a cold front nearby that you're going to get a severe weather outlook from it. And so it makes humid days even feel stickier, but it can also make for when it rains, it pours. It's almost synonymous with it when it rains, it pours. The amount of rain that we have seen fall in this red box was 1 to 2 inches. As I mentioned before, if I look real quickly at the, let's see, 6 hours. Yeah, where do you see the hot spots? Yellow, of course. And that kind of lines up with where the Weather Service has a box. So areas that are probably just around the Hembry area. I'm going to say it's in Hembry. How far is Hembry? There's Hembry. Yeah, Hembry. There's Hembry. Probably close to 3 now. 2.5, 3, 2.4, 2.6, or 2.4. And some areas south of Rugby have had over 2. So these are all Doppler estimated, but it gives you a sense of where you may find some standing water. South Knoxville already has had probably close to 1.5 inches, and maybe 1.25 inches on the north side of town. Some areas in dark green would suggest about 2. So Loudon, perhaps half inch, maybe a little bit more or less. Around, say, Wartburg at 1.5 inches. Sevierville picking up a little bit more at 1.35 Doppler estimated. So clearly a lot to take in. Wouldn't know necessarily what everybody's rain gauge is going to ultimately show, but where you see these red areas, good bet that you're going to see this rain drop off in buckets. It's going to continue. This all shows up fairly well here with the boxes, the lightning, and I mentioned the time frame till 4:30 for Blunt, Cock County till 4:45, Knoxville, area flood advisory till 6, and a warning for Blunt County till 4:45. So clearly 4:45 for Knox County as this is working its way to the east. So any other questions, let me know. I am very thankful for you all to have spent some time with you on this particular Saturday, right? This is not how I or you would have wanted to spend your Saturday, but outdoor activities probably would have preferred to do. But this is just the way it goes. Anyway, you notice we have no talk or discussion of drought. The drought monitor came out last Thursday and it looked clean as a whistle. Maybe a few dry spots, maybe around Hancock or Hawkins County. But outside of that, it looked pretty quiet. Nobody's talking about drought anymore, but we really had some dry spells last year, as you remember, from September and October. Those are typically dry months. So maybe your tomato plants and cucumbers will thank you for all this rain that has come over this period of time. I think that's about all I've got covered here. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Kelsey. And back on YouTube, I'm looking real quickly. I want to thank you for your comments that have come in. Trudy says, thank you so much for being here and for giving us updates. My pleasure. Michael Hawk says, thanks, David. Glad to have you here. Just because I sign off doesn't mean that the storminess ends, but we've seen this kind of progressing along. And we've done the future radar, so you know where it's going. And I fully suspect, based on the fact that we're now no longer under severe thunderstorm watch for Fentress County, as you can see there in the full screen, that we'll see an expiration of this fall off pretty quickly once these red areas get out of here. And believe me, they're working their way out of here just as quickly as they can. This is the last hour. You can see it's now rolling out of the city of Knoxville, and it's on the east side of Knox County. It's really affecting areas now into eastern sections of Jefferson, sliding closer to Newport. There's Newport and Cosby. It's rolled through parts of Hamblin County, Morristown, where Michael Hawk is. He's been getting some downpours here. There's a loop for you. It's come right through town, maybe north of town near Alpha and Witt and Bainbury and along Douglas Lake. And it's sliding across Sandy Ridge, Riverdale, getting some heavy rain around Seymour, Boyd's Creek, and it's really coming down in buckets now around Kodak and further south toward Wallen, where we've had some reports of power outages. So clearly, far and away, we've had worse, but we'll get through this. Just hang in there. Things will get better here, I think, in a short period of time. Certainly, it's improved dramatically, Cookeville, Jamestown, and now just some moderate rain in yellow for Crossville and Spring City. So there we go. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you guys. If you have any questions, I'll keep a watchful eye on the comments for both YouTube and Facebook. And if you have any thoughts or concerns, make sure you download my Captain Accurate Weather app. It will guide you through the rest of the evening. Just hit the Future Radar, 1 hour. It's on the app, and it'll take you in time. You just do a little play button, and you can grab your finger to it so you can move it as fast or as slow as you want it to go and zoom into the town that's of interest to you. My name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.